First contact. Dr. Arya Chen adjusted her environment suit as she gazed through the viewport at the swirling azure atmosphere of Kepler 186f. It's more beautiful than the simulations, she whispered to herself. The Nexus station hung in orbit like a gleaming silver spiderweb connecting humanity to this alien world. First time off Earth, Dr. Chen? Came a deep voice behind her. Arya turned to see a tall man with dark eyes and a friendly smile. Commander Kai, I presume. She extended her hand. And yes, this is my first deep space assignment. Your reputation precedes you, he said, shaking her hand. Not many xenobiologists earn a position here straight out of the academy. Your work on theoretical alien physiology was quite impressive, Arya. Felt her cheeks warm. Theory is one thing, Commander, actual alien biology is quite another. Well, you'll get your fill here. Kai gestured toward the habitat ring. The Nexus hosts 17 different species currently. The diplomatic quarter alone will keep you studying for years. As Kai led her through the station's winding corridors, Arya tried to contain her excitement. Every alien they passed represented countless evolutionary paths unknown to humanity, each one a scientific treasure. The research lab is through here, Kai said, passing his hand over a scanner. Your primary assignment is cataloging biological samples from the northern continent, but fair warning, the indigenous representatives are particular about collection protocols. The lab doors slid open, revealing state-of-the-art equipment and several researchers, both human and alien. Arya's attention immediately fixed on one figure standing near a crystalline display. She was tall and slender, her skin a rich purple that seemed to shimmer under the lab lights. Her features were elegantly proportioned with high cheekbones and almond-shaped eyes that gleamed gold in the artificial light. Her hair fell in waves of silver-white down her back. That's Ambassador Thala, Kai said quietly. She's overseeing our research on behalf of the Keplerians. She's brilliant but challenging to work with. The diplomatic corps considers her unpredictable. As if sensing their attention, Thala looked up, her golden eyes locked with Arya's, sending an unexpected shiver down her spine. The new xenobiologist, I presume. Thala approached with fluid grace. I've reviewed your proposals, Dr. Chen. Your methods are primitive, but your theories show promise. Arya straightened. Thank you, Ambassador, though I'd prefer to call my approaches foundational rather than primitive. A slight smile curved Thala's purple lips. Semantics. Their first expedition came 3 days later. A routine sample collection in the crystal forests near the equatorial region. Arya, Kai, and Thala traveled by shuttle, while Arya marveled at the alien landscape below. The forest produces unique atmospheric compounds, Thala explained as they landed. My people believe the crystals themselves are semi-sentient, storing knowledge from the planet's birth. A fascinating theory, Arya replied. I'd love to. The ground shook violently, cutting her off. A warning alarm blared from their shuttle. Seismic activity. Kai shouted, We need to evacuate. As they raced back, debris crashed down, blocking their path. Thala grabbed Arya's arm, pulling her away from falling crystal shards. Their eyes met for a brief moment, electric and intense. Then the ground gave way beneath them. When Arya regained consciousness, she was in a crystal cave. Thala kneeling beside her. Stay still, the alien woman said, her voice surprisingly gentle. The commander is calling for extraction. We must work together to survive this, Dr. Chen. Arya, she corrected, wincing. If we're going to be trapped together, you might as well use my name. Thala's golden eyes studied her face. Arya then. For the first time, a genuine smile transformed her features. It seems the planet has plans for us after all. Breaking barriers. 3 weeks after the incident in the Crystal Forest, Arya found herself working late in the research lab. The seismic event had yielded unexpected discoveries, crystal fragments with properties unlike anything previously documented. Your analysis is flawed. Thala's voice came from behind her, making Arya jump. Ambassador, I didn't hear you come in, Arya said, quickly straightening her posture. Thala moved beside her, purple skin luminescent under the lab lights. These formations aren't merely geological anomalies. They're biologically reactive. She reached past Arya, her arm brushing against hers as she adjusted the scanner settings. Like this. The holographic display transformed, revealing complex molecular structures that pulsed with energy. Arya gasped. That's impossible. Unless they're partially organic. Thela finished, a hint of amusement in her golden eyes. Your earth science still separates biology from geology too rigidly. They worked through the night, Thela sharing knowledge that contradicted everything in Arya's textbooks. Their hands occasionally touched over the control panels, sending unexpected warmth through Arya's fingers. Why are you helping me? Arya finally asked as the station's artificial dawn began to glow. Commander Kai said you rarely collaborate with humans. Thela's ears, slightly pointed and adorned with silver cuffs, twitched slightly. You see the crystals differently. Not as resources to be harvested, but as wonders to be understood. Her golden eyes met Arya's. That is refreshing. Their research partnership became routine. Days in the lab stretched into weeks, their conversations extending beyond science into personal territories. Arya learned of Thela's childhood on the southern continent, her struggles as a female in the traditionally male diplomatic corps, her love of something similar to Earth's ancient poetry. We should collect samples from the eastern ridge, Thela suggested one morning. The crystal formations there show even greater bioreactivity. The expedition was approved quickly. Perhaps too quickly, Arya thought later. They took a small research vessel, just the two of them, as Kai was called away to a security briefing. The eastern ridge glittered like diamonds under the alien sun as they landed. It's breathtaking, Arya whispered as they stepped onto the crystalline surface. Thela smiled, her usual reserve softening. This was my favorite place as a child. My father brought me here to learn our planet's songs. Songs? Watch. Thela placed her purple hand on a large crystal formation and closed her eyes. The crystal began to emit a soft humming that grew into a haunting melody. Arya stood transfixed. That's beautiful. Place your hand beside mine, Thela instructed. When Arya did, the melody changed, becoming more complex. Their eyes met over their joined hands, something unspoken passing between them. The storm struck without warning. Violent atmospheric disturbance that the ship's instruments hadn't detected. Lightning arced between crystal spires as wind howled around them. The outpost, Thela shouted over the roar, pointing to a small structure half embedded in the crystal face. Run! They barely made it inside before the full fury of the storm hit. The research outpost was small, clearly long abandoned, with just one room containing basic emergency supplies. Communications are down, Arya reported after checking the equipment, and according to these readings, the storm could last for days. Thela removed her environmental gloves, her purple fingers flexing. Then it seems we are trapped together, Dr. Chen. Arya, she corrected again with a small smile. We established that, remember? As the storm raged outside, they made the best of their situation. They shared the outpost's emergency rations, huddled under thermal blankets for warmth, and talked more openly than ever before. Your species fascinates me, Thela admitted on the second night, sitting close to Arya for warmth, so emotional, so expressive. My people consider such openness a weakness, yet there's strength in it too. And your people fascinate me, Arya replied softly, so reserved yet feeling everything so deeply underneath. How would you know what I feel deeply? Thela asked, her golden eyes reflecting the emergency lights. I'm a scientist. I observe, Arya said, finding courage in the intimacy of their shelter. I see how your eyes dilate when we discuss something that excites you. How your breathing changes when we're working closely together. Thela was silent for a long moment, then whispered, Perhaps you've been observing too carefully. Arya. The storm outside intensified, but neither noticed as Thela slowly reached out, her purple fingers gently tracing the line of Arya's jaw. There are many boundaries between us, she said softly. Some boundaries, Arya replied, her heart racing, exist to be crossed. Forbidden desires. The rescue team found them on the fourth day, huddled together among scattered research equipment and handwritten notes. If the team noticed how Thela's hand lingered on Arya's arm as they were escorted to the transport, no one commented. The journey back to Nexus Station passed in weighted silence. stolen glances speaking volumes. "You two were lucky," Commander Kai remarked as they disembarked. "That storm system has destroyed 3 unmanned outposts already." His gaze shifted between them, assessing. "Dr. Chen, Command wants your full report by tomorrow. Ambassador Thala, the Keplerian Council has been requesting your presence." Thala straightened formally. "Of course, Commander. The research data we gathered is quite valuable despite our predicament." Her golden eyes flicked briefly to Arya. Dr. Chen proved to be an exceptional colleague under pressure. They parted ways at the main junction, professional nods replacing the intimacy of the previous days. Arya's quarter seemed cold and empty after the closeness of the outpost. She stared at her reflection in the viewport, remembering the feeling of Thala's purple fingers against her skin, the whispered conversations in the storm-dark shelter. "This is impossible," she murmured to herself. Completely impossible. Yet 3 days later, Arya found herself responding to a cryptic message on her personal terminal. The coordinates led to an unused observation deck in the station's western arm. Thala was waiting, silhouetted against the panoramic view of Kepler 186f below. "We shouldn't be meeting privately," Arya said, even as she moved closer. "The diplomatic protocols are written by those who fear what they don't understand," Thala finished. "Like my council fears what happened between us." "And what did happen between us?" Arya asked quietly. Instead of answering, Thala reached out, her purple fingers intertwining with Arya's pale ones. "I've been studying human customs," she said softly. "Is this how you show affection?" Arya's breath caught. "One way," she whispered. "There are others." Their first kiss was hesitant, a crossing of boundaries biological, cultural, political. Thala's lips were warmer than human temperature, with a faint sweetness Arya couldn't identify. When they parted, the look of wonder in Thala's golden eyes mirrored what Arya felt. "The diplomatic reception is tomorrow night," Thala said, her voice husky. "Come as my personal scientific advisor. I want to show you my world, Arya." The reception was held in the Keplerian embassy, a soaring crystalline structure that seemed to grow from the station itself. Arya wore her formal Earth Science Division uniform, drawing curious glances from the predominantly alien gathering. "They're watching us," Arya whispered, as Thala guided her through the crowd. "Let them watch," Thala replied, her hand briefly touching the small of Arya's back. "Tonight I'm not just showing you my world, I'm showing them our potential future." They moved through chambers that defied Earth architecture, with living crystal walls that hummed with subtle harmonies. Thala introduced Arya to officials, artists, scientists, each interaction a careful balancing act between professional interest and personal protection. "Ambassador Takal approaches," Thala murmured. "He opposed your research permission from the beginning." The elder Keplerian's skin was deeper purple than Thala's, lined with age, his golden eyes narrowed with suspicion. "Ambassador Thala," he said, ignoring Arya completely. "The Council questions your judgment in bringing an outsider to this gathering. Dr. Chen's research is revolutionizing our understanding of the crystal formations," Thala replied coolly. "Her presence honors us." "Her presence compromises you," Takal hissed quietly. "There are rumors, Thala. Rumors that dishonor your house." Later, Thala led Arya through a hidden passage to her private quarters within the embassy. The rooms were beautiful, curved walls embedded with living crystals that glowed with soft light, furnishings that seemed grown rather than built. "Takal suspects," Arya said as the door sealed behind them. "Takal always suspects," Thala replied, removing her formal outer robe. In the simpler attire beneath, her purple skin seemed to glow. "But tonight isn't about him, or politics, or even science." She moved closer, her silver-white hair falling around them like a curtain as she leaned down to meet Arya's lips. This kiss was different, urgent, certain, inevitable. Arya's hands traced the contours of Thala's face, marveling at both the alienness and the familiarity. "Stay with me tonight," Thala whispered against Arya's ear. "I want to learn all the ways humans show affection." In the dim crystal light, they discovered that despite their differences, desire spoke a universal language. Thala's purple skin was silk beneath Arya's exploring fingertips. Her sighs were music, her touch electric. They moved together in the strange gravity of new love, creating their own world between worlds. Afterward, lying in Thala's arms, Arya watched the distant storms on the planet below through the viewport. "What happens now?" she asked quietly. Thala's fingers traced patterns on Arya's bare shoulder. "Now we've changed everything," she replied. "For better or worse." "They'll try to separate us," Arya said. "Then they'll fail," Thala answered, her golden eyes fierce in the darkness. "What we've found is too rare, too precious to surrender." But as dawn approached, both knew the universe was rarely kind to those who defied its boundaries. Worlds apart. The summons came exactly as Arya had feared. Director Sarah Cooper's holographic image hovered over Arya's desk. Her expression stern. "Return to Earth immediately. Dr. Chen. Your relationship with Ambassador Thala violates 17 diplomatic protocols. The Interstellar Science Commission is terminating your assignment." "My research is groundbreaking," Arya protested. "The crystal formations could revolutionize our understanding of—" "This isn't about your research," Sarah interrupted. "It's about stability. Earth needs Keplerian minerals. Your personal entanglements are jeopardizing trillion-credit negotiations." Across the station, Thala faced her own tribunal. Ambassador Tikal stood with the Keplerian Council, his voice echoing in the crystal chamber. "You have dishonored our traditions," he declared. "Intimate relations with lesser species are forbidden. You will return home for purification rituals." Thala stood proudly, her purple skin luminous even in her distress. "There is nothing impure in what I feel. Dr. Chen has shown me that our differences can become our greatest strength." "Sentiment," Tikal sneered. "Your human has clouded your judgment." They met in secret that night in the abandoned observation deck where they'd first kissed. Thala's eyes were dark with worry. 3 days, Arya said, her voice breaking. "That's all we have before my transport leaves." Thala took her hands. "I've been researching. There's a scientific outpost on Proxima B independent. They take researchers from all species." "You'd leave everything behind?" Arya whispered. "For you? Yes." Thala's golden eyes burned with certainty. "But there's a complication. Dr. Isabel is threatening to expose evidence from the research outpost security recordings." Arya's breath caught. "The storm shelter. She wants my position on the council," Thala confirmed. "We must act quickly. Beyond the stars." Their plan was desperate and dangerous. Using Arya's research on the crystal formation's bioreactive properties, they developed a proposal so revolutionary it couldn't be ignored. A symbiotic adaptation process that would allow humans to survive on Kepler 186f without environmental suits. Commander Kai found them in the lab, the night before Arya's scheduled departure. He stood watching them for a long moment, then sighed. "I should report this unauthorized research," he said. Arya tensed, but Thala stepped forward. "You won't," she said with certainty. "No," Kai agreed. "Because I remember what it's like to love someone across boundaries." He slid a data chip across the table. "Alternative transport codes. The diplomatic vessel leaves for the Proxima outpost tomorrow." The station erupted in chaos the next morning, when both Arya and Thala failed to appear for their respective departures. By then their small shuttle was already navigating the asteroid belt at the system's edge. "They'll follow," Arya said, watching the sensor readings nervously. Thala's purple fingers danced over the controls. "Not if Commander Kai did as promised. By now our revolutionary research proposal should be causing quite the diplomatic stir." She was right. 6 months later they watched the incoming transmission from Nexus Station. Director Cooper and Ambassador Tikal stood side by side, expressions grave. "Your adaptation research has been verified," Sarah admitted reluctantly. "Both councils recognize its value." Tikal looked pained. "The council offers you both positions at the new Joint Species Research Initiative. Your relationship will be officially tolerated." When the transmission ended, Thala pulled Arya close. Outside their viewport, the double stars of Proxima Centauri painted the sky in shades of gold and purple. "Tolerated," Thala laughed. "How generous of them. Does it matter?" Arya asked, reaching up to trace the contours of her lover's face. We found our way across the stars to be together. Everything else is just politics. Under alien skies, they kissed, no longer human and Keplerian, but simply two beings who had discovered that love, like science, recognizes no boundaries. When you first said I was primitive, Arya whispered against Thala's lips. Did you ever imagine we'd end up here? Thala's golden eyes sparkled with mischief and love. Perhaps I always knew, she replied, that sometimes the universe conspires to bring stars into alignment.